My daughter said homophobic things to her brother. We were all out and my youngest son, 15 male, brought his boyfriend with us, as he often does, and they kept hugging and kissing constantly, like they were attached to each other. One of my daughters, 18, kept pulling them apart in the store, then wouldn't let them sit next to each other in the car. I told her to let them sit where they want. She called them FG gots and disgusting, nasty, etc. This isn't the first time she's said homophobic things to her brother, but she usually only does it when they are displaying affection or she's having problems with her boyfriend. I asked her numerous times to stop and she hasn't. Question: why don't you shut her down harder? Saying that she should leave her brother alone obviously doesn't cut it. Saying such hateful words should be shut down immediately. Ask her what the hell she thinks she is doing and what got into her mind to think that this is all right. You are not playing favorites by doing so. She is old enough to have to deal with the consequences of such hatefulness from her side. You've asked her? How nicely. Why did she get a lift home? If someone is causing problems for someone else in the group, the person who is causing problems gets told to leave the group. She's old enough to make her own way home and it was the least you could do for your son and his boyfriend. You are allowing your child to bully her younger brother. You do not need to ask her to stop. You need to insist that it does stop and back that up with meaningful action. The longer you wait to discipline a child, the harder it will be down the road. Clearly, she feels that she can get away with spewing that garbage because you allowed her to get away with it growing up. She's 18, she's an adult and you expect her to listen to you now? Where have you been for the past 18 years? Protect your son or he will resent you and his sister if he doesn't already. Sit down with her and tell her that being a homophobic bigot is not going to be tolerated in your family, that if she is struggling with her feelings and emotions you will help her in any way you can, individual and/or family counseling, setting aside time for just the two of you to spend together discussing things, whatever, but that the way she acted and spoke the other night is never to happen again. If she does do it again, she is an adult and you can put her out. And in what regard do you seek advice here? Be a parent to both of your kids and shut her down harder. There are lots of people in the world who will bully your son for who he is. It is your job to make sure that his home and family is a place that is safe from this. What your daughter is doing can cause lasting harm to your son. It needs to stop immediately and completely. How old is your daughter? Don't invite her out. Make her a social pariah in the family if she's going to be abusive. And she's 18, so if she doesn't stop, kick her out. Also, pushing them apart is technically assault on a minor. She needs to be stopped yesterday. I asked her numerous times to stop and she hasn't. If this is the extent of your reaction, two things will happen in the future. 1. Your son will disown his sister, and probably avoid any and all family gatherings. 2. Your daughter learns there's no consequences with you, and will become increasingly unpleasant towards both her brother and you. Start actually doing something about it. Take away privileges, have her talk to someone about her very disturbing attitude, where did this even come from? Ground her, etc. #SHUTITDOWN. Be a good parent to your son by stopping the homophobia, and be a good parent to your daughter by making her grow out of this BS. You're the mom. Stop asking her. Tell her. Your son deserves better from you. Get your daughter on her own and tell her you've noticed her hostile behavior toward her brother's relationship. Ask her what is going on. And now here's where you lay down the law. You need to tell her that her actions are hateful and homophobic, and will not be tolerated. Make sure she understands this, and inform her that she is not invited to future family outings unless she cleans up her act. She's 18. That's way too old to have to tell someone to keep their hands to themselves. Your son and his boyfriend have all my love and well wishes. Your daughter needs to get her shit together. You need to put your foot down with her. You don't want a homophobic piece of shit as a daughter. You have to have a real conversation to figure out why she feels this way. The correct way is to not blame, but understand and redirect. This is how you deal with racists and bigots as well. In fact, putting people on the defensive right away doesn't work well. As a gay man myself, if you loved your son you would bring the hammer down on her instead of asking Reddit. If you don't do anything about it you're an enabler to her behavior. You can't be like, I want my kids to be happy, and then let this happen right in front of you. What is your question? What advice do you need? How should I educate my backwards child? Why is she acting this way? How do you ground an 18-year-old? How do I properly stand up for my son next time? We can't give advice if we don't know what you need. Your poor son. Don't ask her, tell her that that is unacceptable behavior. She is a legal adult, she needs to leave children alone. Why the heck aren't you protecting your 15-year-old son from bigotry? Your daughter has learned these behaviors from somewhere, it doesn't just magically happen. Who has taught your daughter to behave this way, and why have you allowed it to get this bad? Did you belt that bitch in the mouth? Daughter or not, she can either stop being homophobic towards her brother or she can get the fuck out of your house. You need to protect your son and she is a legal adult. She can deal with the consequences of her actions if she wants to act like that. Asking is not helping and you risk serious damage to your son. You need to lock that shit down ASAP. If this was my family I would probably disown her, this is very serious. I would take her phone, her driving privileges etc. And if it continues I would kick her out. You don't ask her anything, you tell her that is wrong, vile, and cruel. How dare she? Yo, tell your daughter to shut the fuck up. You're her mom. It's your job to correct her bullshit. The world can be so hard on gay kids, his home needs to be a refuge. Adult or no, your daughter needs to be punished and the behavior needs to stop, or she needs to find somewhere else to live. The damage she is doing to your son will be irreparable. No. Get this straight, your daughter isn't just saying homophobic things. She is a homophobe in general. Stop enabling your daughter. You've asked her numerous times? That's the problem. Obviously that doesn't work, or she would have done it the first time. Good grief, your son is getting hated and harassed by one of your children. Don't ask her to do anything. Demand it. I assume she is still living at home, so be a parent and make a consequence for your daughter's bigoted and disgusting behavior. Stop being a doormat and start being a parent. Welp, the moment she makes someone under your roof in the house you pay for and clean uncomfortable with the knowledge they can't just get away is the moment she's properly introduced to adult life. Daughter or not, homophobic and abusive trash belongs on the streets. She's no longer young enough to need your constant care and protection, so devote it to your son until she grows up. You need to shut her down way harder than you are currently doing or you may end up losing your son. You need to protect your child even if it's from their sibling. That's not okay. She's 18 and should know better. First ask for her motives behind this so you can get an idea, then talk to your son and tell him that you're trying to make things better. Then it may seem hard but you may need to discipline to convince your daughter. Don't get too serious, it will only drive her motives. Baby steps. She should probably get therapy and see what her underlying issues are. Also, please stick up for your son. He's still a minor and relies heavily on you to protect him. He probably already experiences a lot of hate and it isn't easier when a family member contributes to it and the other just lets it slide. In life people don't have to approve, like, or respect your decisions. Just like you not liking my comment. So you will tell me, a bisexual black man, that I'm in the wrong. Yeah, I would have told my kid to shut the fuck up or get out of my car, and yes, I would have said it exactly like that. And I would leave their ass in a parking lot. I'd be kicking her homophobic ass out of the house. Let her go find somewhere else to live. People are ripping Op a new one. I think Op wants to know how to change the views of her daughter, and the simple answer is, you can't really. Like the others said, this isn't Charlie bit my finger kinda shit, this heavy. That's like running around and calling African Americans the N-word in public heavy. You have to let her know that this won't ever happen again. If you don't pull consequences, you are failing your son as a parent. Which you already kinda are. She's getting away with this repeatedly. If this was me, my mother would have, in front of both brother and boyfriend, pulled over and turned around and asked me to explain exactly why I thought that was an appropriate comment to make. She would talk through it and lecture me, and the car would not move until both brother and boyfriend were apologized to, and I had explained to her why my actions were completely unacceptable. That's humiliating for the daughter, and that's why it works. Also, she wouldn't let them sit next to each other. Who's the parent here? You should have stepped in then. The way I see this, your daughter is 18. She's a legal adult. Your son is 15, a minor. Priority is protecting your son as he is still a minor. And also, he is doing nothing wrong. You need to go tougher in not tolerating your daughter's homophobia. At this point, you need to consider kicking her out if she continues to harass her brother. Because honestly, family or no, do you want to be associated with a blatant homophobe? Gay kids get kicked out for something harmless as their orientation, but homophobes don't for their disgusting harmful behavior? She's 18 and an adult. He's still a minor in your care. If she can't show her family respect, then it's time to charge her rent and treat her like a roommate. No excuses to bully your brother, especially at this age. Edited to add, when she says something like this, you should embarrass her for those remarks by making a mini scene. Make her explain her behavior as soon as it happens. Show her sensibilization videos, give her a punishment each time she acts like that, make her understand that it's totally not okay to do this. If she's going to act like a playground bully, treat her one, she's being a bigot? Stop being disgusting name, every time. Ground her, stop driving her anywhere but school. Cut her allowance. For your son, tell him you love him, and show him that you're dealing with his sister. Seeing her get away with this hurts just as much as her doing it. Ask her why she's doing this in private. Is she actually a bigot? Is she actually just weirded out by her younger brother dating and taking easy shots at him? Find out why she cares so much. Maybe therapy, but she would need to be willing, and I doubt she is. Jesus. Maybe it's time to stop asking your daughter to not be a homophobic asshole, and tell her if she doesn't she'll face the consequences. She's a legal adult in 2020, she absolutely does know better and simply chooses to still be a prick. Stop supporting this behavior, otherwise she'll get worse. Punish her way worse. She is saying homophobic slur, which is disgusting. I'd honestly just slap her. JK, don't do this, but I'd really want to. But I would do something to punish her, like exclude her from some programs and etc. so she feels bad for being a little bitch. She's old enough to know a little better about things, and I imagine she didn't get that opinion from you, since you accept your son. She live with you? Then treat her like a child. Take away her shit till the message is clear, because, could you please stop being homophobic? Isn't working, and when has it ever? You could try spanking her, but she might be little to old for that. You're the adult and the parent. Set boundaries. You can't change her views and she is entitled to them, wrong or right, but you can make it clear that those behaviors are not appropriate to be aired in front of your son, and she is not welcome if she can't stow them. If she doesn't behave in a way you feel is appropriate, tell her that she's not welcome at family events until she learns to keep her opinions and hands to herself. If she lives with you, make it simple. Tell her she is old enough to move out, get her own place and invite who she likes there, but that she will not embarrass or berate family guests while living under your roof, and that includes while out in public with the family. But she usually only does it when they are displaying affection or she's having problems with her boyfriend. Maybe it wasn't your intent, but this reads like a really sad excuse. Even if PDA makes your daughter extremely uncomfortable, as a legal adult she should have the social skills and emotional intelligence to cope with her discomfort without damaging other human beings. Same goes for boyfriend drama. But I'm guessing she doesn't lash out at you or your spouse for having the audacity to be affectionate when her boyfriend's being a chucklehead. The repeated homophobic behavior is not because of some visceral disdain for PDA, nor is it because of even the most world-shattering of boyfriend dramas. It's because of bigotry. For both of your kids, please do better. Your 18-year-old daughter is out here calling her own brother homophobic slurs? This would not be going down in my house. It is completely unacceptable. She's the only one being disgusting and nasty. You should not be allowing this. Do not ask her. Stop saying that shit, point blank period. She would not be invited to any outings. WTH is this?